today. First of all, I hope that all of you are fine during this pandemic. I present myself. Well, I am Dridi from Tunisia. This article was prepared by me and Professor Adel Bouhrara. I would like also to thank SciTech for giving me the chance to present this article and to participate in this online conference in my site. This study seeks to stress the relationship between inflation targeting adoption and foreign portfolio investment inflows and volatility by using a statistical method, that is the propensity score matching method. So, the plan of this presentation is the following. First, we begin with the motivation, literature review, then we move to the research question, methodology, data description of sources, we move on to empirical results, and we end up finally with the conclusion and policy implications. So, policymakers have two chief concerns, which are price stability and financial stability. To reach their goals, different monetary policies, such as monetary aggregate and exchange rate targeting, has been adopted to overcome the problem of high level of inflation rate, but results were not that satisfying. And this could explain the resorting to another monetary policy, which is the inflation targeting. Inflation targeting consists in targeting directly the inflation rate instead of targeting an intermediate variable, as other monetary policies do. So besides this, preconditions of inflation targeting adoption provides a great territory for improving the financial situation and more precisely more performing private capital inflows, higher private capital inflows, and banking performance, etc. in financial markets performance. A stable macroeconomic environment is necessary for steady foreign portfolio investment inflows, and steady foreign portfolio investment inflows is also needed for some levels of macroeconomic and financial stability, especially that foreign portfolio investment have the character of being easily reversible. So it can be a disturbing factor for financial and economic stability, system stability. So foreign portfolio investment inflows and volatility are believed to shift following some factors, such as the institutional quality, interest rate alterations, which is a tool of monetary policies, the exchange rate volatility, inflation rate, economic growth, in general economic conditions and financial conditions. They are also considered as influential factors that could impact foreign portfolio investment volatility. So countries' experience and empirical studies have shown that inflation targeting adoption have resulted in better improvement or great improvement in macroeconomic fundamentals, and institutional environment, and financial environment too. So this represents a channel, one of these channels that are believed to be improving foreign portfolio investment inflows and control for foreign portfolio investment volatility. So before running any regression, we took a quick glance at the mean and the standard deviation of foreign portfolio investment inflows and volatility. So we found according when sorting variables by treatment. The treatment in our case is the adoption of inflation targeting, and IHEC represent the sample of inflation targeting countries, and non-IHEC is those countries which do not adopt inflation targeting, and they are adopting another monetary policy written. So results reported that the foreign portfolio investment inflows is higher for inflation targeted countries in mean as compared to non-inflation targeted countries with a value of 0.698. The standard deviation is, on the other hand, found to be lower in inflation targeted countries as compared to non-inflation targeted countries, with a value of 1.774 as compared to non-inflation targeted countries with a standard deviation of 3.038. So these These differences could be due to the adoption of inflation targeting regime, as it could be due to other characteristics. So, literature review now. Literature done on inflation targeting can be divided into 4 chief strands of literature. And the first strand of literature was concerned more with the prerequisites for inflation targeting adoption and the preparedness of countries to adopt inflation targeting. The second strand of literature focuses more on the effect of inflation targeting adoption on inflation and its volatility. The third strand of literature was stressing the inflation targeting adoption effects on macroeconomic variables such as the output, etc. So the fourth strand of literature, which is the most recent one, highlighting inflation targeting adoption effects on several financial variables such as foreign direct investment, private capital flows in general. The banking system stability also was highlighted recently in some empirical studies, and several. On the other hand, literature also has provided supportive evidence of the existence of a significant relationship between foreign capital and economic growth. In fact, Calvial provided evidence that foreign capital can finance investment and stimulate economic growth. On the other hand, Fernandez, Arias, and Tyler and Sarno has found significant relationship between interest rate and foreign capital of portfolio investment inflows and volatility. Transparency also, and in general the institutional quality is found to be having a significant effect on foreign portfolio investment inflows and volatility. In fact, higher transparency will be, a country with an environment of high transparency will be providing an attractive environment for foreign portfolio investors in general, according to these studies. So the aim of this study is to answer two chief questions. The first question is whether the adoption of inflation targeting regime will provide or not an attractive environment for foreign portfolio investment or not. For the case of emerging countries, the second question is whether the adoption of inflation targeting regime is able to contain foreign portfolio investment volatility, or it's not the case. So, traditional econometric methods suffer from several biases, such as endogeneity, selection bias, reverse causality. So to overcome these limits, a statistical method has been proposed. That is the impact problem evaluation or treatment effect evaluation methods. So to extract causal conclusion on this topic, the impact problem evaluation methods is used. So impact evaluation aims at answering a key question, that is, to what extent can the net difference observed in outcomes between treated and non-treated group be attributed to an intervention, given that all things are held constant. In another word, the answer to the question of how did the program change the outcome of interest. In the context of our study, the outcome is the foreign portfolio investment inflows and volatility, and the treatment is the inflation targeting adoption. So, treatment, to find the treatment effect, 3 variables are needed, which are the observable characteristics that are collected in the covariate coded X, treatment state 2, and which is the adoption of inflation targeting in our case, and the outcome variable. Such an evaluation, in fact, was used in biological and medical trials to assess the effect of a treatment on an individual patient. After that, it was extended to be applied to economic data. So, in earlier studies, economists were comparing the pre to post-treatment outcomes to find the treatment effect. The produced difference in outcome in this case will result from the participation effect associated with other differentiating factors, and that's going to be out by the estimates. So consequently, it was proposed to find the treatment effect by doing the difference between the outcome of treatment and the outcome of treated in the absence of treatment. And because we're not in a perfect world, we cannot observe the outcome of treated in the absence of treatment, because that unit has already followed the treatment. So the its outcome, in case it didn't, it's not observable. So to overcome this identification problem, automatic control trials has to be applied. In fact, randomization ensures that the only differentiating factor between treated and untreated units is the treatment stage. Particularly, the solution was to find out the treatment effect by applying the difference between the outcome of treated and the untreated units. In the case of observational studies, where assignment to treatment is not done at random, it is advised to use quasi-experimental designs studies that are used to understand the cause and impact in the context of our study of inflation targeting, where random assignment of countries to treatment and control group is not possible. We use one of the quasi-experimental design methods, which is the propensity score matching method. Because in the case of observational studies where assignment to treatment is not done at random, the problem of selection bias arise. So self-selection bias arise. So to discover the latter problem, we use the propensity score matching method. Propensity score is proposed by Roosevelt and Rubin. It's a measure of similarity. It's the probability of adopting the treatment given a set of observable characteristics that are collected in a covariate called X in this case. It's a measure of similarity. To discard the problem of dimensionality, to include the maximum number of control units to control for confounders. So to implement the propensity score matching method, 5 chief steps are needed. The first step consists in selecting great quotient control variables to include in the binary model, the probability logic model, through which or via which we're going to estimate the propensity score. It's advised to include control variables that are believed to be common determinants of the treatment and the outcome variables, while tending more to include variables that are believed to be determinant of the outcome in case and not including variables which are determinant of inflation targeting, for example, of the treatment. So the second step consists in estimating the propensity score by using probability logic model. The third step consists in identifying the region of common support where treated and control units interfere, the density of propensity score of treated and control units interfere, and making sure that the balancing property is satisfied. The fourth step consists in using matching techniques, and in the context of this study we did 4 matching techniques. And the fifth step consists in estimating the problem effect by estimating the average treatment effect on treated, and we're estimating the average treatment effect on treated because we are interested to the treated population. So here are the 4 matching techniques used in the context of our study: the nearest neighbor radius matching with 2 radiuses, an ample and low, 0.1 and 0.05, and the kernel matching with 3 bandwidths, 0.6, 0.06, and 0.1, and the stratification matching technique. So, the country sample used in this study consists of 38 emerging countries over the period ranging from 1986 to 2010 at annual level. The adoption, IT adoption dates are extracted from Rose, Hammond, Harvard, Romero, and each country's central bank website. So for the whole sample, from 38 emerging countries, we have 13 countries that are inflation targeted countries, or countries which have adopted inflation targeting. They are in the treatment group, and the control group contains 25 emerging countries. So the dependent variable in the context of our study is the treatment effect variable is the full-fledged IT dummy. It takes the value 1 in case country I has adopted inflation targeting, and 0 in case that country I has received or has adopted another monetary policy regime. The outcome variables are 2: foreign portfolio investment inflows, which is measured or proxied by foreign portfolio liability as a percentage of nominal GDP, and foreign portfolio investment volatility that is measured with the standard deviation of foreign portfolio investment. These are the control variables, or the covariates we call them, that were used in that were included in the probit model in the case of our study, and these are the sources from which we extracted these variables. So we move now to the empirical results. So to estimate the propensity score, as we mentioned before, the first step consists in selecting with great caution control variables to put in the probability logic model if you're going to use it. Results are the same when using probability logic model. For this reason we kept probability model estimations. In the baseline model, we included 10 covariates or control variables, of which 7 are found to be statistically significant and significantly correlated to IT adoption likelihood. According to these results, countries with higher level of lagged inflation rate and higher level of debt spread, interest rate spread, the senior revenue, and the corruption index with high corruption and nominal effective exchange rate are believed to be less likely to adopt inflation targeting regime, and countries with higher or more flexible exchange rate regime and higher interest rate spread and higher interest rate spread are believed to be more likely to adopt inflation targeting regime. So we included 3 additional probability models to check for the robustness of our results to model specification. All these models, of course, the common support of these models are the following for each model: specification 1, 2, and 3, and 4. The balanced property is satisfied, of course, for all models. We estimated then the average treatment effect on treated in the case of foreign portfolio investment inflows. We used full matching techniques, and matching is the nearest neighbor matching, kernel matching with 3 smoothing parameters, 3 bandwidths, and radius matching and stratification matching technique was used. The average treatment effect on treated for 1 corresponds to the average treatment effect on treated results when using the first specification, the baseline model. So according to these results, inflation targeting adoption contributes in increasing foreign portfolio investment inflows into emerging countries by at least 0.553 percentage point. So results are robust when checking for average treatment effect on treated 2 and 3 and 4 results. We find that the results are almost the same. They are most of the time significant and positive for when using different matching techniques and different models and full specification model. So results are robust in the case of foreign portfolio investment inflows. For the case of foreign portfolio investment volatility, results were not robust. They were so sensitive to the model specification, the matching technique, the smoothing parameter used also. So while being most of the time positive, inflation targeting may increase foreign portfolio investment volatility. However, these results are not robust to stable robustness check. When changing model specification, it gives significant positive results with the nearest neighbor kernel and radius matching. However, most of the time it's not significant and it's so fragile to model specification and kernel and matching technique used. So inflation targeted countries are able to attract inflows of foreign portfolio investment. These results are found to be robust to super robustness check. These results indicate that IT or inflation targeting adoption is contributing to amplifying foreign portfolio investment volatility. However, such finding is far from being robust. In fact, the character of easily reversible is always assigned to foreign portfolio investment flows, making these flows risky and able to be a disturbing factor, I'm going to say, for financial and economic stability, as I mentioned before. So they have to be a little bit aware of the effects of these variables on the financial and macroeconomic stability. So these results also could encourage emerging markets and developing countries to adopt the IT or inflation targeted regime to overcome two chief problems from which they suffer, especially the high level of inflation rate, and to provide an attractive environment for investment, and because they have lower level of investment as compared to other countries. So the study's results may be useful in guiding also policymakers toward widening the scope of inflation targeting regime to encompass financial stability in addition to price stability goals. So this study also did not seek to criticize all monetary regimes, or nor did it outline inflation targeting as the best monetary policy. It's only clarifying or highlighting that relationship that was not highlighted in the literature to check for the effect of inflation targeting adoption on foreign portfolio investment inflows and volatility. So thank you for giving attention.